Welcome to Jazz on My Mind, Coast to Coast. I'm Richard Blackwell. This is the show that is dedicated to jazz lovers around the world. Every Wednesday at 10 p.m., we bring you jazz events from Los Angeles to New York, plus performances and jazz chats with the legends, current and upcoming jazz stars. And tonight, we have a great jazz show ready for you. Back with us tonight is the father and son trumpet team, Saee'd Abuwi and his son Saeed. Plus, we have two outstanding video performances, one from the tremendous female vocalist Kim Pinder Garner, and the other from the hot, smooth jazz group Aniya. But first, let's welcome my co-host. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and let's welcome Mr. Larry Unthank to Jazz on My Mind.
Hello, Richard.
Come on over, bro.
How you doing today?
Good to see you, Larry.
Yes.
Welcome back, man. I love having you as my co-host.
Well, Wednesday seems to be a very happening day for me. I enjoy coming down and being your Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson.
Thank you.
For those of you that know about that.
You know, Larry, it's always a thrill having you on the show with me because you are well respected, highly regarded in the city of Wilmington, Delaware.
Jazz City, USA, by the way.
The jazz capital of the world.
Jazz capital of the world.
And it's always wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, you've got some things going on because, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Unthank is an outstanding saxophonist. You've appeared you've appeared around the world.
A lot of places.
A lot of places. And you got some stuff coming up. You're still gigging a little bit, doing your thing.
Yes, we right now don't have the luxury of a regular rhythm section or unit. But I'm teaming up with Saeed this Saturday for the All About Boise celebration at the Wilmington Music School in Wilmington, Delaware. And that is at Lee Boulevard and Washington Street.
4101 Washington
right.
in Wilmington, Delaware.
And I'm told that I need to be there at 6, so I'm assuming that the doors will open at 7. I understand there will be around 30 performers, all affiliated with Boise in some way.
Right.
And I'm really looking forward to it. I get a chance to do a couple of tunes with Saeed, and I'm going to sing a song.
Whoa, I heard about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I chirp every now and then.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching the Jazz on My Mind show, which I hope you have, for the last 3 to 4 weeks, we've been talking about this wonderful music tribute coming up to Robert Boise Lowry. Mm-hmm. Now, for those of you who may not know, Boise Lowry was a tremendous music instructor here in Wilmington, Delaware. He taught everybody coming and going.
Yes.
Some of the baddest musicians were taught by Boise Lowry, such as Faustina Dixon Kilgo, Wilby Fletcher, Tony Smith, Gerald Chavis.
Yeah, quite a few local musicians had the opportunity to work with Boise, which is one of the reasons we talked about the transformation from R&B to jazz music, which was so important for many of the people that you just mentioned to be able to work into what jazz was about.
Right.
And Boise was instrumental, I would assume, at least with me he was, but I would assume he was instrumental with his cool, unorthodox style of being able to get you to understand what was going on with a scale or a series of chords, and just the basic workings of music, how music works in the scale and with the triads, which allowed me to be able to become a songwriter at some point. Prior to me meeting Boise, I was clueless about how songs were written.
And I understand you did more R&B.
Oh yeah, a lot more.
Before meeting Boise.
Oh yeah, a lot more. I probably wouldn't have gotten to jazz if one of my roommates hadn't asked me if I knew about John Coltrane, which at the time I didn't. But once I did, it transformed me, and the stuff Boise was teaching me started to come to fruition.
That's beautiful. So when you mention the name Boise here, anywhere for that matter, it's like speaking of
Caesar.
You know, it's incredible. And when, by the way, I'm going to be the master of ceremonies this Saturday for the Boise tribute. And when you talk about, and when I was asked, I'm telling you, chills went down my spine. And it's like,
oh yeah, he's so highly regarded among those that know about Boise. What you have to understand, he was so soft-spoken and so unassuming. And the genius of him being able to not look too good nor talk too wise played to everyone's advantage. Again, because of his humility and the simpleness of how he approached each student.
Right.
I mean, he could you could go into one big room and you might have 12 students in there, from playing violin to clarinet to saxophone to maybe a drummer, and they may be from ages from 8 or 9 to 70.
Because when I mentioned that some of the people that he instructed, for instance, Faustina Dixon plays baritone sax.
Yeah, among other things.
Wilby Fletcher Jr., the late great Wilby Fletcher, played drums.
Right.
And he was an outstanding drummer.
Well, Boise had no restrictions. One of the things Boise, he made it simple. He made it look like whether you were a drummer that didn't play notes at all, you understood the rhythm, and he was able to make you understand how the song went.
Yeah.
If you played a melodic instrument, he would help you to understand how the scale was able to make the melody that you're hearing. So he had a knack of being able to do that. Myself, my first time, he set me in a corner with 4 or 5 other students, and he told me to play the C major scale. I did for an hour. And he said, okay, play the C major scale. I did for another hour. And this went on for weeks, where I was frustrated, but he wanted me to hear what it sounded like. And a lot of jazz is about how you hear it.
Yeah.
Because the notes don't actually change.
Right.
You know, a 12-bar blues is a 12-bar blues, whether it's jazzy or whether Leonard Skinner is playing it.
Right.
You know, it's still a 12-bar blues. So it's all about your approach and what you really want to say.
Right.
And Boise had the knack of being able to give you the tools, for lack of a better term, the tools and the confidence that you could say what you wanted to say in these 12 bars.
I think that's an outstanding talent, and I wish I could have got here to Wilmington, Delaware before I did to have met Boise Lowry. I saw a video of him performing, and I was like, oh my God, that's Boise. And he was playing with Tony Smith, another outstanding trumpeter, on the video. So, you know, it's a wonderful thing, and it's what he did for jazz, and not only music, but his spirit.
And what he did for Wilmington also.
Yes.
Because people would come from all over the world. Once they got a load of Clifford Brown.
That was another one of his students.
That was his major student.
And we all know how big Clifford Brown is.
Yeah, and in Clifford you can see first of all, the dedication that Clifford put into Boise's theory of how to do improvisation and how it worked. But once they got a load of Clifford, they were like, wow, who taught you this?
Exactly.
Oh, Boise. So now you got trumpet players from Europe coming to Wilmington, Delaware. Because of Boise.
That's beautiful. Well, we've got 2 trumpeters, father and son team.
Very good
Saee'd
trumpeters.
Abuwi and Saee'd Abuwi II.
I know them well.
You know them well. You are a wonderful mentor to both of them. They're going to come on in just a little bit. We're going to rap with them. They're also going to give us a little music lesson. You're going to stick around for a while, right?
I will.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Larry Unthank on Jazz on My Mind. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up, we're going to pull out of our jazz video vault a performance from Kim Pinder Garner, an outstanding vocalist. But first, right now, it's time for This Week in Jazz on the West Coast. And I want to begin with one of my favorite spots for jazz in Los Angeles, and it's called the World Stage. Now, the World Stage always has some very exciting performances, and you can check them out. Their address is 4344 Degnan Street in Los Angeles. Now, the World Stage was founded by the late, great Billy Higgins, so they've always got some outstanding jazz going on. For jazz events and to find out what's happening, call the World Stage at area code 323, and the number is 293-2451. Once again, that's one of my favorite spots in Los Angeles. It's the World Stage. And if you go by the World Stage, be sure to tell my good friend Matt Gibson I said hello. Also, there's another hot spot for jazz in LA, and it's called NOLA's. NOLA's located at 734 East 3rd in Los Angeles. Now, at NOLA's, you can hear some fantastic jazz plus a touch of New Orleans. For more jazz events at NOLA's, you can call area code 213 and the number 680-3003. And of course, you can't talk about jazz in Los Angeles without talking about the Catalina Bar and Grill. They've always got some outstanding jazz performances. The Catalina Bar and Grill is located at 6725 Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. For more information, you can call the Catalina Bar and Grill at area code 323, and the number is 466-2210 for more jazz information. Now, for all of our wonderful viewers in the Midwest, Chicago has an outstanding jazz club, and it's called the Green Mill Cocktail Lounge. They are located at 4802 North Broadway in Chicago, Illinois. You can find out what's happening there by calling area code 773 and the number 878-5552. And in Cleveland, Ohio, they've got a great spot for jazz, and it's called Nighttown. They're located at 12387 Cedar Road in Cleveland, Ohio. All you got to do is call them at area code 216 and the number 795-0550. And in St. Louis, there is a terrific spot for jazz. It's called Jazz at the Bistro. You can check them out at 5336 Washington Avenue in St. Louis. Log on to their website, which is called jazzatthebistro.com. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, for jazz events from Los Angeles to New York, all you got to do is log on to our jazz website, which is jazzonmymind.com. Keep that pen and paper handy, because coming up soon, I'm going to give you the jazz events for This Week in Jazz on the East Coast. Coming up, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a great music lesson from trumpeter Saee'd Abuwi and his son. But first, I want to share this outstanding video with you. The video is Kim Pinder Garner, and it was shot in October of 2009, right here at the jazz capital of the world, Wilmington, Delaware. It was shot at the Blue Parrot. Now, this video features the one and only Mr. Richard Tucker on guitar. Also, my main man, John Coley on drums, and Stacy McGee on bass. And of course, it features Kim Pinder Garner. She's singing It's Love, a song written and produced by Jill Scott. So, ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Kim Pinder Garner on Jazz
Thank you, Richard
on My Mind.
for being here and supporting me. And if you don't mind, these two songs that Richard loves by the world famous Jill Scott, I promised that I would do for his son. So, y'all ready to party? Now, I don't got a whole lot of dance in me, so you just gonna like see my hips. That's why I wear like the fitted dresses. So you'll realize like, she kind of looks cute. And you won't realize that I can't dance. So, bear with me. Come on, y'all. They say I'm crazy, the way you get me open, baby. They say I'm walking, the way I'm top sweating your loving. They all sit and wonder why this feeling I cannot hide. It ain't a question of pride, no. Ooh, yes. Ooh, they say I'm tripping, the way you got my whole life ripping. They say I'm losing it and can't seem to keep my grip, baby. Now we all cry when we feel pain, when love is going not the same. It ain't a question of brains, no. Doobie 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 doo. It's love. Doobie 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 doo, yes. It's love. Do you want it or you got the brains? Do you want it or you can't just wait? Do you want it or you pick no beats? Give it to me, give it to me, give it. Do you want it or you rice and gravy? Do you want it or you biscuit gravy? Do you want it? Do you want it? Oh, it's love, 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 They say I'm crazy. No, I'm not crazy. It's
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, what an outstanding performance from a tremendous vocalist, Kim Pinder Garner, from the Philadelphia area. That was shot, like I said, at the Blue Parrot here in Wilmington, Delaware. Featured Richard Tucker on guitar, John Coley on drums, and Stacy McGee on bass. Wow, I love that. Coming up, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a music lesson from trumpeter Saee'd Abuwi and his son Saee'd II. But first, I would like to share with you this week's jazz events that are happening this week in jazz for the East Coast. And let's begin, first of all, with tomorrow night with the Thursday Night Jazz Party. And it happens, well, no other than at Basil Bar and Grill. Basil's located at 422 Delaware Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, inside the Sheraton Suites Hotel. Now this week, the music will be supplied by Richard Tucker, the young man you just saw on the video, and his group, which is called the Universal Concept Band. Now, the jazz party begins every Thursday night at 8 o'clock and is hosted by yours truly. Once again, that's the Thursday Night Jazz Party tomorrow night at Basil, 422 Delaware Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware. Also, ladies and gentlemen, is jazz at its finest at the Nomad Jazz Bar, located at 905 North Orange, right here in Wilmington, Delaware. For more information about the Nomad, you can call them at area code 302, and the number is 655-8800. It's the hot new jazz spot in Wilmington, Delaware, and it's called the Nomad. And on each and every Sunday, it's the world-famous Jazz Brunch at Warm Daddy's, located at 1400 Columbus Avenue in Philadelphia. Now, the food at Warm Daddy's is always delicious, and the music is out of sight. You can find out more about Warm Daddy's by calling area code 215 and the number 462-2000. And if you want to hear some great straight-ahead jazz on the radio, you got to check out my friend Fauné. Fauné is on the radio every Monday morning from 2 until 5 a.m. So all of you jazz heads who are up in the middle of the night on a Monday morning, turn on the radio station WPFW, which is 89.3 out of Washington, D.C. And you can listen to Fauné anywhere in the world. Just log on to WPFW.org. And for some great jazz on a Monday night here on the East Coast, it's the Tony Williams Monday Night Jazz Jam. And it happens at the La Rose Social Club. And their address, 5531 Germantown Avenue in Philadelphia. Showtimes, 8 until 11 p.m. And down a little further south, Atlanta has a hot jazz spot, and it's called Cafe 290. Every Sunday, they have a Sunday night all-star jazz jam session. For more information, just call Cafe 290 at area code 404 and the number 256-3942. That's 256-3942. And you can't leave out the Big Apple. That's right. New York has a hot jazz club, and it's called the Town Hall Jazz Club. I like that. They're located at 131 West 3rd in New York. For more information, just call area code 212 and the number 475-8592. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, for all the great jazz events from Los Angeles to New York, just log on to the website, jazzonmymind.com. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next, we're going to check out a video performance from the hot but smooth jazz group called Aniya. But first, I'd like to welcome my good friend, musician, music instructor, and a terrific father, Saee'd Abuwi, and his son, Saee'd Abuwi Jr. Thank you, gentlemen, and welcome to Jazz on My Mind. All right. Saee'd, welcome back. Saee'd, welcome back. I'm glad you guys are on the show because we talked a couple of weeks ago when our first show, you guys came on and talked about what you were going to do. And we got a little jazz presentation from you tonight. But how things have been going for you and your son? You guys have been doing great?
Yeah, everything's been well. Constantly practicing, you know, and my son is in school, marching band, and, everything is going pretty well.
The last time we were here, you two had just won a father and son contest. Talk a little bit about that.
Just like what I talked about the last interview. The talent show was Me and My Father Have Talent Too. Within that talent show, the first year, this talent show that we won was the second one. The first year he called me, I wasn't really too interested in doing it. And then the second time, he advertised it. I looked at it, thought about it, and I was thinking about the way me and my son has been playing.
Yeah.
And I said, well, the time is now. Let's go ahead and try it. And during, rehearsing and getting ready and preparing and everything like that, I call him Little Cy, but he's about 6'2" right now. But rehearsing with him, he just got to the point where he was holding back on me during rehearsals, and then get to the talent show, and he just during sound check he showed out, and I was like, oh, where'd that coming from?
Right.
He basically told me he just wanted to show me up, so I'm enjoying it.
Saee'd the second, that's how I will refer to you. You've been playing for how long now? How long have you been performing?
Since 4 or 3.
Since how old?
3 or 4.
3 or 4? And you're 15 now, is that correct? So that's like 12 years. Huh? And don't be shy. You're amongst friends. Did you originally gravitate to the trumpet because of your dad, or was there another instrument? And you can tell us. Was there another instrument that you were thinking about playing?
I wanted to play saxophone.
And what happened with that?
We played in Clifford Brown Jazz Festival, and I got money.
And you liked it, huh? Now, speaking of saxophone, sitting next to you is Larry Unthank, a young man who you've known since you were a little kid, I understand. How has he influenced your life?
He's like a tutor.
Uh-huh.
And a second ago, he was telling me basically I have to accept how I am.
Yeah.
And be me.
Yeah. Because before the show, I know Larry, what were some of the things you were sharing with young Cy doing before the show?
Young Saee'd has all the tools available to him at a very early age, and he's pretty much on point. My advice to him and most young musicians is that they need to recognize that they have the tools and step up to the plate. Sometimes they're very, very shy, but it's important to walk the line between being confident and cocky. We're all entertainers. Once you step up to the plate and you pick up an instrument, or you sing a song, or do a presentation, your job is to make it palatable and to make it to the point where you'd like to see it again. So he's got great tone. And to address the saxophone thing, I've had several students that have were not really able, able's not the right word, but they were much more suited for the trumpet than for the saxophone. For whatever reason, after 2 or 3 lessons, I can tell, like, maybe you should
play the saxophone, the trumpet.
Maybe not play the saxophone, maybe try another instrument. So on several occasions, my most famous is I had a student named Ron Horton, who I believe is a director down in Texas now. He came to me as a saxophone player, and after about the third lesson, one day he walked in with a trumpet, and he just started playing like he had played it for all his life.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him, "Why are you trying to play the saxophone?" So I was able to convince him to play the trumpet as opposed to the saxophone. But he's already got it.
Now, say, how long have you been playing the trumpet? Was the trumpet your first instrument of choice?
Yes. It was from the very beginning. My cousin Tony was playing,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to sneak and play on it. So right from the very beginning, once I seen an instrument, was able to touch an instrument, the trumpet was the instrument.
Your first one?
Yes.
Larry, is it difficult? What is how difficult to play sax and trumpet?
It's not so much that it's difficult. It's a whole different approach with the mouth. They've only got 3 keys. Saxophone's got like 30 keys to play.
Okay.
He only needs one hand. I need 2 hands.
Mm-hmm.
The similarity is we can only play one note at a time.
Okay.
Because we're a single note instrument. But it's not I don't believe it's a question of difficulty. I believe it's a question of how one meshes with the instrument. Because at an early age, you got to make the instrument mesh with your personality.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, in certain cases, Ron Horton, for instance, there was no way he should be playing the saxophone. I mean, not that he couldn't play it,
mm-hmm.
but he was so in tune. Like these guys, they just pick this instrument up, and they've got a natural thing. It's a natural extension of themselves.
Right.
Which is not always natural for you to get,
mm-hmm.
you know. And saxophone is difficult in the sense that there's so many different variables.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't make a play right, then you don't sound good.
Yeah.
And that's discouraging.
Yeah. How was the breathing? Now I know breathing is a very vital part of playing any instrument. How is it? Let's take this approach. Let's take the question this way. Your son came to you and he said, "Dad, show me the sax, the trumpet, teach me." What was one of the first things that you recall that you said to Saee'd when he said he wanted to learn how to play the trumpet?
You know what? He really didn't come to me.
What happened?
I got to tell you how that started. Well, I have a pocket trumpet. I used to have a pocket trumpet, rather. And I started him on a pocket trumpet because, for his size, it was small,
mm-hmm.
compact,
mm-hmm.
easy for him to hold. The most important thing that I started him out with was just the mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Buzzing the mouthpiece. Buzz the mouthpiece. From that, once he got the proper setup, then I gave him the pocket trumpet. Then I just started him on playing a note. Just hold that note.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll have him do it again. I said, "You hear that?" And basically, that was it. Now, on the breathing aspect, I was taught early as a singer. I don't sing,
mm-hmm.
but the diaphragm.
Right.
Breathing from the diaphragm, learning how to expand, open up, and push.
Right.
And working long tones to help build my muscles.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I taught him the same thing. Now, as you progress and learn how to breathe, now there's another thing that we do. It's called circular breathing. He does circular breathing now, and he does it well.
Mm-hmm.
I call it, what was it, back in the 80s, 90s, Kenny G was, he was doing a lot of circular breathing,
mm-hmm.
Nonstop,
Mm-hmm.
but that's basically it. I want to talk about something, if it's okay.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I was sitting there and I was thinking when you was talking to Larry earlier, basically, something came over me, basically when I was in martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Just the discipline of martial arts, going through training,
mm-hmm.
then working with Boise. Boise to me was like a grand master.
Right.
And to get to the level, I would call him a grand master. I would call Tony, Gerald, Larry. I would say that they masters. Well, he was a grand master.
Right.
But we are not masters.
Because he taught them. What was that?
Yeah.
We are not masters.
Yeah, because you're constantly always learning.
Right.
You're constantly always learning. And one thing, I also look at it like Star Wars. we're basically Jedis in training. You know.
And Boise was.
He was a Jedi. You know, he understood the Force.
Yeah.
You know, and his way of teaching. You know, when Larry said he had to play that C scale over and over and over and over again until you understand the aspects of each note of the scale, what each note represented that scale. Then he talks about the triad or the chord of that scale, and then going from each one and being able to work around within that scale. You know?
Now you are also a musical instructor. You're teaching now, are you teaching other students on how to play the trumpet or any instruments?
Well, I taught for 4 years at Christina, Christina Culture and Arts Center from 94 to 98.
Which is a beautiful place, a wonderful venue for anyone to learn how to play any instrument or any performing arts here in Wilmington, Delaware.
Yes. I somewhat laid back. I mean, right now I do take a few students here and there, but with my work schedule, it's a little tight. Basically, I'm working with my own kids who all play trumpet. So.
And you said other kids. Now, tell the audience about the other children that you have at home.
Well, I have my daughter. She's 12.
Is she playing?
And she's playing, and she also is attending Cab Calloway School of the Arts.
Wow.
Along with little Cy.
Okay.
My baby boy Malachi, he's 9. He's about to turn 10 October 30th. So he's also playing trumpet in school. He's just starting his first year in school.
Now, young Cy, let me ask you a question. You're playing with your dad, and I've heard you play on several instances. You are great, and the audience will get an idea how good you are in just a few minutes. But the music, jazz, are you gravitating to that music, jazz?
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much so? Are you feeling it? Are you to the point now where you can feel it when you're playing? And do you feel as though that in the future this will be the type of music you will stick with? Or do you see yourself taking another route? You're digging jazz enough to stay with it?
Yes.
Well, that's a beautiful thing, because we need people like young Cy to play this music, because as the legends continue to move on and retire, it's going to open a stage up for young men like Cy and even yourself. And Larry Unthank is one of those legends, I would like to say as well, because the music you perform and what you do, Larry, is incredible. Your showmanship, how you play your jazz is absolutely. Would you agree? Is Larry an outstanding saxophonist? Yeah. So,
Thank you.
And we're going to hope one day, Larry, to get you on and perform instead of just co-hosting.
Well, hopefully I'm working on a new project with Larry Unthank Originals, and I've got a DVD that I'm going to be forwarding to you of a live performance from a Jersey venue that covers jazz, some R&B, some pop stuff with my own arrangements to them. And it'll take you across a journey of how I look at what I do as a performer. Right. So there'll be some straight ahead jazz, there'll be some vintage jazz, a couple of show tunes, some R&B, and some original stuff.
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to being here.
Now, Cy and young Cy, you gentlemen brought your trumpets. You're going to feel like playing a little something so the audience can see what you two can do and what these lessons have been providing for young Cy. You mind playing a little bit something for us?
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, right now, put your hands together for Saee'd Abuwi and his son, young Cy, on Jazz on My Mind.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him another big round of applause. Saee'd Abuwi and his son, young Sai. Man. Well, you know what, Sai? How does it feel to be playing? Let me grab the mic here for you. How does it feel to be playing in front of a nationwide audience? Worldwide, because we're on the internet worldwide. You weren't nervous at all, were you?
No.
Well, I got to tell you, it's my honor to be the first one to interview you. This is your first interview, basically, your first performance worldwide, and I'm privileged to be the first one to do it.
All right.
All right? Thank you for giving me that honor. All right? Now, you guys are going to be doing your thing. I wish you the best in your musical endeavors coming up, and I know you're going to be doing a lot more things, and I hope to have you on the show again with the rhythm section. In fact, we're talking to a great jazz guitarist, Joe Robinson, about coming on in a couple of weeks, and you guys are going to do some great stuff with Joe Robinson. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes and ears open for that, all right? Saee'd, thank you so much. Thank you, sir. And young Saee'd, thank you as well, all right? Smile, young man. Ladies and gentlemen, Saee'd Abuwi and his son, young Saee'd, on Jazz on My Mind. Let's give another big round of applause. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to check out a jazz video from our smooth jazz group called Aniya. But before we do, I must tell you about this wonderful Caribbean restaurant, and it's called Paradise Palms. That's where we do our show each and every Wednesday night. Paradise Palms, right here in Wilmington, Delaware, located at 901 North King, downtown Wilmington. I got to tell you about this place because the food here is out of sight. It's all because the head chef, my main man, Mr. Wendell, prepares every meal with the love of Jamaica. Dishes like jerk chicken, baked fish, red beans and rice, cabbage, corn, and so much more. So the next time your tongue says Caribbean and your mouth wants some great Caribbean food, it's got to be the Paradise Palms, located again at 901 Wilmington, in Wilmington, Delaware, at 901 North King. For more information, you can call Wendell at area code 302 and the number 377-2528. You can log on to the website, which is theparadisepalms.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you a video performance of one of the hottest but smooth jazz groups around. The group is called Aniya. Now, what's very important about this group is on November 19th, which is Saturday night, they will be releasing their third CD. And this CD is called Full Circle. It's going to be happening here in the jazz capital of the world, Wilmington, Delaware. It's going to happen again on November 19th, and it's going to be at the Christina Cultural Arts Center. So I want you to check out one of their cuts. On this video, it features Delbert Boyer on guitar, Rob Nelson on drums, Monte Pollard on keys, Mark Mitchell on sax, and Deke Morton on bass. Now, the song is called Second Chance. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Aniya performing on Jazz on My Mind. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Aniya. Great. Wasn't it outstanding? Aniya, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be releasing their third CD November 19th at the Christina Cultural Arts Center here in Wilmington, Delaware. Get your tickets now. Once again, Aniya, it featured Delbert Boyer on guitar, Rob Nelson on drums, Monty Pollard on keys, Mark Mitchell, young man that you know, on sax, and Deke Morton on bass. Aniya, I love that group. CD is called Full Circle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Saee'd and young Saee'd and my co-host Larry Unthank. You know, you guys, the music is so good right now. I think that with you, Saee'd, doing your thing and young Saee'd gravitating to jazz, I think jazz for the next generation is going to be in great hands. I think there's some outstanding young musicians coming up, and it's all about jazz. And I'm glad, because we need that to keep jazz alive. Would you agree?
Yes, wholeheartedly. To the point where, you know, one thing I like to say is that, you know, little Cy, he's been working professionally since the age of 9 or 10. You know, through gospel group that we was working with. We were traveling. Trombone player that was with us, Kevin Reeves. He's a band director at AI Middle School. And you know, he was learning the parts, and he was hanging right along with us.
Yeah, he's
At
good.
an early age.
Yeah. Well, I wish you guys the best. You gentlemen are going to be coming back. I think in about 2 or 3 weeks we're going to hook them up. You know Joe Robinson as well, Larry.
I do.
And also we got another gentleman coming on that everyone knows. My man, Mr. Perry.
Oh, yes, Mr. Perry.
Perry has an outstanding jazz venue here in Wilmington, Delaware in the summer. He opens up his backyard, and everybody comes. I saw you there. I saw your son. I saw Larry, and a lot of greats. So it's going to be making for a great show later on this month of November. All right? Stick around. Don't go anywhere, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure to join us next week as we will have jazz vocalist Kitty Mayo, plus an out-of-sight jazz video performance from Point Blank, Gerald Chavis's group, and one of our first interviews on Jazz on My Mind from the king of Latin jazz, Mr. Poncho Sanchez. My interview with Poncho plus Point Blank and Kitty Mayo are going to be on the show next week. Ladies and gentlemen, also don't forget, for more jazz information, log on to jazzonmymind.com. Become a member to our website as we do our part in keeping jazz alive. You can also like us on Facebook. I'd like to thank our crew tonight. I'd like to thank Bernard Parker, our cameraman and audio person, also our director, Vincent Atkins, and our floor manager, Shell Lynn. On behalf of my co-host, Mr. Larry Unthank, I'd like to thank young Cy. Thank you, Larry, young Cy, and also Big Cy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Richard Blackwell, and we want to thank you for watching Jazz on My Mind.